I'm heading to the office. I get a phone call. And on my phone, it said United States government or something. And I'm like, oh, this is weird. So
it says like United States government.
And I'm like, I don't even know what that means. So I picked it up because I like, this must be official. I answered the call and I was like, hello, this is Sid Muldrow, because you answer professionally because of real estate again.
Right.
And he's like, hi, Sinev, this is, so-and-so from the FBI. I was like, oh, hi, how can I help you? He's like, yes, we got your number off of your for sale sign. He was like, we're in a hostage situation. And I was like, excuse me, like we're trying to get in touch with the owner of the house. And
then.
This is the same day,
you
30 in the house.
The house.
Oh, this gets better.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Behind the Lockbox. I'm Stephanie Zalewski here with
Cameron Barbier.
Today, we have Sid Muldrow with us.
Hi, how you doing?
So Sid is an agent at our very own brokerage Compass, and she's with the Canter Real Estate Group. Shout out to Andrew Canter. We love you. And congrats to you because you just celebrated 10 years with Canter.
Yes, I did.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Oh, that's so exciting. Sid has been in the business for over 20 years, which looking at her, I don't really know how that's possible. She sells all over San Diego County like us. She's also a dog mom like us to two adorable doodles, Hendrix and Harley.
Yes.
Oh my God, those are cute
Oh
names.
my God. I literally was looking. They have their own Instagram. I was dying. I was dying. We have to show.
I mean, I just feel bad if I post all dog photos.
So you're like, this needs to live somewhere. Yeah. There you go. Everyone's like, you should have. I'm like, I can't even run these two Instagrams,
I'm just like, need to delete photos at this point.
Exactly. So anyway, Sid, welcome to Behind the Lockbox.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you for being here. We saw each other at Reba, and I get a tap on the shoulder, and she was sitting next to Brian, and she was like, his episode was so good. I was like, I know. Through the Cat Door for anyone who hasn't listened to that one.
Yeah.
And I was like, Sid, you have to come on. Like, you have to come on. So when you walked in, I said, do you have a couple stories? You're like, oh God, yes, I do. So where do you want to start? Yeah. Where do you want to start?
I'm going to start with the lesser of the two because the story is the same day. Both instances happened the same day.
Damn.
Wow.
And which is the most crazy thing. Like even thinking back on it, I was kind of telling my best friend the story yesterday. And I was like, this happened the same day. I was like, I know. And it was a hot day in San Diego. This is pre-COVID, obviously. Hot day. I'm shooting a video.
I love how she's painting this picture.
Yeah.
It was a hot, sunny day. It was 82 and sunny.
I was meeting my videographer. And we shoot my part of the video.
Are you shooting like a listing video? Like
listing
at a
video,
listing?
yes.
Okay.
Yes, sorry.
Okay.
At a listing on India Street, but India Street kind of going into Mission Hills, right?
Yep.
Which is kind of like not a busy street, but people use it to get on the 5. So it stays busy. So I'm shooting a video. I'm doing my part, kind of talking about the property, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And we're doing like a twilight shoot. So he's going to come back later in the evening to, take videos because it faces west, so it has sunset views.
Oh, amazing.
Everything.
Yeah.
So we kind of had to capture all that.
Right.
And I was like, no problem. Grab something to eat, come back. Here's the keys. Do your thing. I'm going to run back to the office. And
again, this is a photographer you've obviously worked with.
I work with him all the time. Chris Helke, little
What's up, Chris?
Yeah.
We do the same thing. We're like, hey, go back for twilight. We don't always meet them there, especially once our part is done. They get their shots or whatever. Yeah.
And at this point, they're familiar with the property, so it's not like I need to tell them anything. It's kind of like, hey, just hang out at the property, watch TV, relax, chill. You're doing me a favor for shooting this. Yeah.
For sure.
And he actually works with a lot of Compass agents and San Diego agents.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
okay.
He's based out of Orange County.
Okay.
And I go outside. We're kind of chatting. I'm giving him the lowdown on how to lock up the house and do this, do that. And I realize as I'm walking away to my car, we both parked on the street. I realized I forgot to give him a key. So I turned around to give him a key, just like, oh, shoot, I hear the loudest boom crash ever. This giant, like, black, SUV Yukon Escalade, like, went off road. I don't even know how. And those transformers on the sidewalk?
Yes.
Ended up on top of the transformer, missed my car, missed his, but the car behind him got hit. My car is parked here. I would have
you had just walked towards your car.
Right. And I turned around to give him a key. I would have probably got.
Sid.
Yes. Oh my gosh. So
No.
we're both standing there in shock. And we're just like we were confused. Like, what just happened?
And like
is this
that
real?
sound when a transformer blows, it is very
so
loud.
not only did a transformer blow, this guy is just went in a full-on car accident.
Like
he can't even
Fast
move.
and Furious. Like
none of
he's
the
on
wheels
top
are
of
on the ground.
Oh my god!
Not even the back
Oh
wheels.
my
Like he's
gosh.
like completely suspended on whatever's left of the transformer, and it's big. It's like the ones that are
Yes.
almost as tall as us.
Yeah.
And we're standing there like, what just happened? We like, oh my gosh, I like we were in shock.
Oh
and
my god!
I don't even know what to do. Like, I don't know. Like, we're just looking at each other.
I'd be like shaking.
This
like
guy opens the door. A bottle, like a liter, like one of those big handles of booze falls out like clink, clink. And we're like, okay, obviously this is the middle of the day, guys. Because we're getting ready for a twilight shoot. It's like 3 or 4 o'clock.
in the afternoon.
In the afternoon. I'm going back to the office. Like, it's still like a work day.
Oh my god!
The bottle falls out. The guy kind of like slings open. I know I almost have to demonstrate this. Like, kind of like, of course, has his adrenaline rush. So he's probably not
like
feeling.
not.
He's probably like,
he's
I
loose
feel
as.
great.
Oh yeah. Well, that's why when drunk
jumps-
drivers get in
yeah.
accidents,
Yeah,
they
they
usually
don't
don't
die.
get hurt or die
Right.
because they're just loose and they're not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're not tense or
Oh my God.
no.
So he kind of falls out.
Oh yeah, jumps out, lands on his feet. Doesn't even like roll over or anything. We're just like, what is happening right now? I mean, this accident was loud enough. Like the neighbors are coming. Out,
Oh
like,
yeah.
whoever's home.
Oh yeah.
And we're like, oh no, don't go.
Yeah.
Because
Don't you leave.
Yeah, don't leave. I was like, let us call the ambulance for you.
Yeah, really, 911
like,
cops.
Yeah, 911 cops,
Yeah.
drunk driver. And at this point, I still haven't walked over to my car yet because I'm still like, is this car going to like tip over?
You don't really want to get near. Right.
Right. So everyone's in shock, like my videographer's in shock because he's just like, this is the nicest guy ever. And he's just like, what just happened, and he's parked behind me. So if anything, it would have hit his car to hit mine. And for some, I don't know,
Wow.
I'm not even super religious, but I was like, God must have been looking over
Oh
me.
no. Yeah. Somebody was looking out
Yeah,
for you.
because none of our cars got scathed. Like no marks
And
on
again,
me.
you were in the street, like you just turned around to like
walk
get the
towards
key.
him. Yes. And I was like, whoa. So now we got this drunk driver that we're trying to not let him run away because he's like, I'm fine. I'm okay. I'm like, you can't leave, sir. Your car's right here.
Your car is on top of a transformer.
Where are you going?
There's an ambulance for you. No,
Yeah.
we're calling the cops. And the fire department came. We all
Right.
stood around there.
Right.
So this like pushed my entire day back at this point. I'm just like, okay, like this is really happening. Like just answer a few questions. The cops like, what did you
Right.
see? Like, obviously we saw whatever happened towards the end.
Right. You're like, I didn't actually physically see him launch into the air because my
Right.
back was to him.
Yeah. So I'm describing the incident and
Oh my God.
they arrest him,
Obviously.
literally, cuff him.
But you're like,
put him
and
in
by the
back.
way, that big bottle of booze is his.
Oh yeah,
not ours.
all the neighbors, everyone, because he knocked out the power for the whole little.
Oh yeah, once
grid
it-
of Mission Hills in
we have a
Italy.
transformer right across the street. No one's hit it, but it has blown before, and that sound.
Oh yeah,
Scary.
It is. You're like, what was that? Was
Yeah.
that a bomb? Was that like?
Oh,
what
it's
the
like a
hell?
boom.
Oh my god, it's
Yeah.
so loud. Yeah,
I can't even like describe it really
Oh my
right now.
God,
But,
I know.
but
That's insane.
that was
So
the
he got
beginning
arrested.
of my day.
Oh my gosh.
And it's the beginning of the day. And by the way, it's like now 4 or 5 p.m.
Yes,
Like,
yeah.
what?
So like I have to run back to the office, get some paperwork done because when you shoot a video, you kind of
Yes.
spend a lot of time and you kind of like
It
I
takes
can't
up your
really
whole
be like,
day.
exactly.
Like you're
yeah.
then have emails and text messages that you haven't responded to and like whatever. Yeah.
And sometimes like in my cases, if the properties are really unique, you want to be in the video so people have
For sure.
spatial awareness and
For
stuff.
sure. For
So I'm like, I need to get back to the office after all this has happened, and I'm like in my car, like, oh my god, and I'm like inspecting my car too. I'm like, okay, I want to make sure there's nothing,
And there was no scratch, like
no
nothing.
scratches. And
Wow.
I just got this car.
Oh, no.
thank
Like
God.
not even like I haven't even had it for like 3 months, and I'm just like in my mind, it's the first thing that I was like,
you
insurance. I
imagine?
got to
Oh.
deal with insurance.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So it's like a million things happening right now.
Oh my
so
gosh.
fast forward. Should I go on
30
to my
minutes.
Second story.
Yeah.
So I'm driving back to the office, and this is before I went over to Compass.
Okay.
I'm still with Canter.
When
Canter
when he
Brokerage.
was his own brokerage.
Right,
Yep.
correct.
Okay.
And so I'm heading to the office. I get a phone call, and on my phone it said United States government or something, and I'm like, oh, this is weird. And you know how real estate agents, we do this all the time. Like,
Yeah.
we screen our calls. We're like,
100%.
we get so much spam.
Like we used to answer them all the time, but with the spam now, like no way.
Thank gosh,
like,
right?
Yeah.
And they're getting smart too. They're getting local numbers and spamming you through local numbers.
Off. I'm like,
Yeah.
you know what? At the point now, like for anyone out there, if I don't answer my phone, leave me a voicemail. Thanks. Like, 'cause I ain't answering.
Right. And now you have the new voicemail feature where you can read the voicemail on the
Yes.
side if you still want
which
to
is
answer.
amazing. And I'm like, block, delete. Like, it's so great.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks, Apple.
Exactly.
So it says like United States government.
And I'm like, I don't even know what that means. So I picked it up because I like, this must be official. I'm like, oh man.
Sometimes
Maybe because I
curiosity
skipped
gets
jury
me. and
duty again.
Yeah. They're coming after me.
I'm a small business owner and I cannot go to jury duty every
Same
time.
girl.
Sorry.
Same.
So fast forward, I answered the call and I was like, hello, this is Sid Muldrow, because you answer professionally because of real estate again.
Right.
And he's like, hi, Sinev, this is, so-and-so from the FBI. I was like, oh, hi, how can I help you?
What?
And it's weird because our office is downtown. The FBI office is downtown. So I'm like, this is weird. Like, how did they get my number?
You're like, oh my God, are they following me? Like, what is happening? Andrew?
Yeah. Like, did I do something? Because then I was like, oh, maybe it's about the accident. I don't know.
For
I
sure.
don't know. I don't know.
That's honestly where my head is going right now.
And this guy's driving like a black SUV. Like, he could have been undercover. Like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, exactly.
He's probably like escaping the cops. Anything can happen.
Who knows? Right.
He's like, yes, we got your number off of your for sale sign. And I'm like, oh. And I'm thinking like, oh, what listing is he talking about? Because when you have listings downtown, it's obviously not downtown because you can't, but my listing in Little Italy that I just left has a for sale sign.
Right, because it's a house.
It's like those lofts, condos.
Okay, so
those
there's a place outside,
but there's a place
or in the
outside
window
for the
or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'm like, okay. He's like, up in Bayhill. I was like, oh,
different
or
listing.
Claremont. He said Claremont. I don't know.
Okay. He didn't know the neighborhood.
That's
right,
us.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you have a direct contact to the owner of the house?
Oh my God.
And I was like, I have his cell phone number. Here's the number. And he's like, oh, we have that number. And I was like, well, I don't have any other ways to get in contact with him. This is my form of communication.
You're like, can I ask why you're asking me
this is where the why starts coming in. He was like, we're in a hostage situation. And I was like, excuse me, like, we're trying to get in touch with the owner of the house. And
then.
This is the
They're
same
like calling
day.
you
30
from
in the house.
the house.
Oh, this gets better. It's
what?
Yeah, this is on the news, guys. My first sale sign is in the front yard. I'm like, this is
You're famous.
You're like, by the way, I hope nothing bad happens, but thank you.
Yeah, like, this is like the publicity you want but don't want.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Oh, it gets better. It gets better.
We've had a couple agents that have come on where they're like, yeah, there was a murder in my, but my first sale sign was on the news. We're like, what were you
Luckily,
gonna
this wasn't a murder, but
okay.
So someone's in your listing.
And the owner was.
Oh, the owner.
They found out it was the owner only.
Okay.
And now I'll go back
Okay,
to that.
So
the owner, they're assuming it's
basically-
the owner because the neighbor said the owner went into the house.
Okay, and so they're like, look, we're trying to get a hold of him, but he's basically not answering his cell phone. And did he tell you in that moment? He did. We're in a hostage situation.
Right, because he's trying to, give me a sense of urgency, which I never talked to the FBI before. I don't know their protocol.
Same. Not recently.
Yeah, not
no,
recently.
don't plan to.
I'm like,
No.
I try to avoid the law at all costs.
Yeah.
So come to find out, they're saying like it's a hostage situation. We're not. There wasn't a hostage. So find out there wasn't a hostage. They find out that, but they didn't know at the time.
Sure.
This is on the news, the local news. There's a helicopter. There is a full-on SWAT team. This is on the news.
Oh, they like completely corned it out. What they do?
I'm on the phone with the neighbor. She's the one that also called me after I got off the phone with the FBI. And I was like, hey, what's going on? We're in escrow. This is the best part. We're in escrow.
My God.
I left that part out.
Do you bury that?
Yeah.
Do you know this seller really well?
No, I did not. It was, this is even better. It was off a postcard that I sent from another cell in the neighborhood.
Okay, so you
I'm glad they work.
Yeah, and they do work, but
They do from time to time.
maybe you need to vet the client.
No,
a little
Sid, we
better.
take any deal.
Yeah.
We take any deal. But so you didn't like have a full-on relationship, but you would
No.
obviously.
But we had a
Knew them.
relationship enough
listing.
because I had
you're
to prep
talking,
the
you're
property,
updating,
get it
100%.
staged.
So you knew him. It wasn't okay.
Right. It wasn't like the first day. It wasn't like
Right.
I just put a sign up, talked to
Right.
him once, got his
Yeah,
number.
right.
We conversed.
It's
met.
been a month or two
right.
now. Houses,
exactly.
And now, and you're in escrow.
Right. We had to clean up the property.
Okay.
He was kind of come to find out he had he was mentally unstable. Obviously, we're in a hostage situation. So I'm on the phone with the neighbor at this point. I get off the phone with the FBI. Kind of tell them this is all. Oh, excuse me. This is the only information I have.
Yeah.
And the neighbor calls me, and my phone is just going off at this point. I'm like, oh my god!
People are like, Sid, your sign's on the news.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, I know.
Oh, my whole office knows at this point because we always have the news on in the office
yeah,
and
yeah.
the common area. I don't know if you probably been to the Canter office, and I'm like, oh my gosh, everyone's like, Sid, isn't that your listing? And because you're advertising it, people know it's your listing. I'm getting text messages like, I think there's cops at your listing, and they're like, from other agents,
know.
and I'm like, oh my
What was
God.
the neighbor saying?
So backtrack earlier that day.
Okay.
I guess he had a mental breakdown. He was outside yelling, which from what I understand from the neighbor, he does this every so often. Like he just has like a break. He was outside laying like in the middle of the street. Then he laid down in the middle of the street, fondling himself.
Oh.
Yes. So I think the neighbors were just getting worried because he was just in the middle of the
Completely
neighborhood
losing
street.
it.
And it's a really nice neighborhood.
Yeah.
Up to $2 million homes, Bayho, like it's a nice neighborhood. And she's sending me pictures that she taken earlier that day of what he was doing because she wanted to have evidence. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not just a
I'm
crazy
not crazy
neighbor.
and I'm not trying to
Right.
cause drama. Like I'm not just calling the neighbor.
Right. And
Did you used to live next door to Cam? Was this your old
Honestly, I was
neighbor?
like, is this my old neighbor?
might be. I can.
No joke, it was in Bayho.
Yeah. It's Yucca.
No.
Oh shoot.
I guess there's a lot of crazies over there.
Yeah. And they call the cops. The neighbors call the cops.
Yeah.
There's a lot of retired people that are
Families
home.
and kids or
Yeah.
whoever.
They're like,
Yeah.
hey, I don't want my kid coming home. seeing
Also,
us.
he clearly needs help. Like he
Right.
clearly is in distress and like regardless of the nasty things he's doing, like he needs attention.
And
right.
he wasn't naked or anything, but he was
Right.
touching himself,
Right.
just doing things that people felt very, very uncomfortable.
right.
Anyone would have
In the middle
called
of the road.
cops. In the middle
Yeah.
of the road in
Yeah.
the neighborhood, right? So I guess the neighbors were asking him to go back inside. Can you get out of the street? And he's yelling back at them. This is all I'm getting this all secondhand.
Right.
And he goes in the house, but no one's sure if there's someone else in the house with him. So that's where the hostage thing.
Did he have any girlfriends or
He
roommates?
did. Come to find
Okay.
out, he used to live with his girlfriend, and I don't know. That's when his break happened. Like, because I also talked to. Fast forward, I talked to the girlfriend. The mom called me.
Oh.
Again, because I was selling the house.
Right.
and
so
I
they're
had-
like wanting to know maybe what your
Right.
interactions
They were like,
are with
"Hey,
him.
you're the only person that interacted with our son, my ex-boyfriend, this whole time." Like,
And when you took the listing, it was just him. No one else
he was
lived
fine.
there.
No one was there.
Yeah,
I can
okay.
tell he was starting to like buy things that he doesn't need. Like he would have like and he was young. Like he was probably our age. He wasn't that old. Like you
Right.
can tell he was like probably gonna get engaged or whatever. And
But if
when
you do have mental illness, I have
Yeah.
family members that have schizophrenia, and it does
Yeah.
kick in your late 20s, early 30s,
Yeah.
like mid 30s. It can, so who knows what he had.
And
but,
he was just like, and there was like certain things when we interacted. I'm like, wow, he used to be in finance, did really well, showed me his proof of funds, like, hey, could you help me figure out what I need to pay to get this property ready?
Right.
I had contractors come in. So we had
Right.
plenty of interaction, but there was things that were said and done throughout our, short-term relationship that kind of made me like, this guy's a little off.
like
But
looking back, or
he's-
you've kind of felt it in the moment.
in the moment, but we deal with a lot of
Yeah.
eclectic.
There's different people.
Yeah, eccentric
There really is,
people.
and you're just like, it's a little weird.
Yeah.
but it's
Okay.
like it's kind of like in our
and now
world,
hindsight, you're like,
oh
Yeah.
wow, like I dodged a bullet, right?
Yeah.
So fast forward, now the FBI is here because come to find out he has an outstanding warrant. Like he didn't show up to court for something, which I thought the FBI involvement was
a little extreme.
extreme.
Yeah,
I'm like,
SWAT,
say,
I can
what?
understand in local police, but not necessarily FBI.
Yeah, but I think the reason why the FBI got involved, and this is all conjecture at this point, like, it's because they thought someone was in the house.
Right.
He was yelling through his own house, like in his window, like, and people can hear him because it's
so they're like, I wonder if
yeah,
someone's
it's not
in
a
there.
cul-de-sac, but it's
It's a small, I know that the
Yeah.
streets are a little closer, and again, if
Right.
he has his windows open and the houses are not super
Exactly.
far apart, you know what I
No.
mean? So,
yeah.
oh
So
my God. So how did they get him out?
oh god, it was like a total
Standoff
Oh yeah,
for hours.
For hours. Like I think it lasted maybe 2 to 3 hours. Full on SWAT, helicopter. This is all in the news, like our local news. I don't know if like Fox.
Did you ever
CBS,
go
everything.
down there or no?
No. I was like, I was at the office because I just
You're like, I'm just
experienced
gonna sit here and watch-
almost
yeah.
a major car accident.
and almost could have died.
Yeah.
I
And
mean, truly.
I'm watching this from the news in the office.
I would have been like, someone
doing
has
my
to come pick me
paperwork.
up. Mom, come get me. I'm scared.
I
Like,
shouldn't be in the car.
No,
I need to go home.
I need
and,
to go
like,
home
hibernate.
and stay there.
Yeah,
Yes.
not leave the house for like a week.
Did you close escrow
No, we fell out of escrow
because of that?
because of that. Because he didn't have a power of attorney. They decided to list it.
Well,
with
he was
someone
in jail
else.
and he couldn't
the
necessarily
buyers
sign paperwork, right?
Can't sign paperwork. Well, they were actually we were still pending because we were going to see what was going to happen. Maybe he just sign off with the current escrow,
and they would let him kind of sell it and
Right.
move on, right?
But come
no.
to find out, yeah, he wasn't even mentally stable to do that.
Oh,
wow.
And then so that's why his mother and ex-girlfriend got in contact with me because they were like, hey, we might need your help to sell the property. And then his lawyer ended up taking over, so everything changed hands. But before that,
Which sucks, but
Yeah.
again, for anyone who doesn't know, like, I mean, I think everyone knows this, but you have to be mentally competent to be able
Exactly.
to do these types of transactions. Like, if
Right.
you're deemed not, everything stops, everything halts.
yeah, and then he didn't have a trust or anything. on
or a
the
power of
property.
attorney, so
Yeah.
nobody can speak for him on his
Exactly.
behalf. Right,
And his
right.
mom didn't live here. I think they were either in Washington State
Yeah.
or
Everybody have a
something.
trust.
Yes, yeah.
She just got hers all figured out.
Yeah,
We had a
things
trust
happen.
attorney. I do some events for clients, and we had a trust attorney come speak one night, and that's how she got her.
Oh, awesome.
And
Yeah.
she looked at me and she's like, I understand that you're single, but you more than anyone need a trust.
Oh, yeah.
Because think about it. If something were to happen, like legally speaking, my own parents couldn't even take my dog.
Right.
Like when there's nothing, everything technically can go into probate. Like it's wild.
It's so wild.
So when this happens and there's nothing in place, everything comes to a
It's
halt.
like an instruction for your life. And
Yeah.
and the lawyers would
Yeah.
tell you too that a will doesn't mean it.
No, it doesn't. You have to have a trust.
You have
Yeah.
to have a trust.
Hot-
This is a
hot
trust
take
state.
for everybody.
Yes,
Yep.
get a
Yep.
trust. If
Wow.
this story doesn't help you get a trust, get a trust.
Then please, yes, exactly. Even if you're single, I don't care if you own
yeah.
property, don't own property, like you need a trust because everything you
Exactly.
have in your possession, nobody can speak on your behalf if you don't have something like that in
Exactly.
place. So
yeah.
Behind the Lockbox is sponsored by Property Showcase Group. Property Showcase Group has a team of creatives, directors, producers, editors, marketing specialists, and designers that work in tandem to tell and share stories of the built environment. Whether you're looking for full-service production or simply just need content creation, Property Showcase Group can help take your business to the next level. To learn more or to contact Property Showcase Group to schedule a consultation, you can find them at propertyshowcasegroup.com. That's spelled PROPERTYSHOWCASEGROUP.com. PropertyShowcaseGroup.com. That's wild.
And
So
it's
that.
legally binding.
So did you go home and just what did you do?
The story's not over yet.
Oh my God.
The neighbor, the entire time, she's keeping me updated. I'm getting text messages, updates like,
like 9
"They're still
p.m..
here. No, it's not that late because remember the accident was like 3 or 4. So this is still daytime in the summertime.
30 minutes out. Oh
this
yeah,
is like-
it's not even dark out
It's not
till
even
8.
dark. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just this is probably like 5.
Are you
5,
drinking?
6. Not yet because I'm still like shocked.
In shock.
I think if I drink, I just pass out.
Yeah.
So I hold on one second. Okay. So standoff 2 to 3 hours. And, obviously the news is updating as well.
Right.
I'm getting live updates from the neighbor. She's sending me photos. I don't even know if I still have it. I have to like dive deep. But
Oh my God, if you do, we need to put one on the
Oh my
YouTube
gosh,
of just the
yes.
neighbors like
Oh my
shot
gosh.
through the window.
she was giving me pictures of him laying in the street. But it's I think my phone deletes after a certain
Yeah,
time
if it was a
period.
while ago, yeah.
pre-COVID and stuff. But
Yeah.
finally it's over. Okay, she's like, hey, they finally arrest him. I don't know how they convinced him to leave the house.
Coaxed him out somehow.
He came out in a straight jacket, which I also have a picture of. She's giving me updates. This is great. It's better than the news because it's live. Live updates, people.
Like they put him in one.
They put him in one because they didn't know. They don't
Well,
know
does he have
what
a
they don't
knife?
mess
Does he
around.
have like guns in the
Yeah.
house? Like, and if they got him, he was
Yeah.
probably fighting them, and so
Yeah.
cops have one of my really good friends is a cop, and they've got like straight jacket situations. It technically is where they can literally like
just I don't
lasso your ass
Yeah,
like a
they
pig.
weren't. I don't think he was completely tied in because you can see like
his arms and
the
stuff.
arms,
Yeah, but
yeah.
there is a jacket they can like
You're right.
put on you and just like wrap you up and like hog tie you. Yeah.
So I'm getting a live update from the neighbor of that, and they finally like
You're, like, zooming in.
I'm like it's finally like dissipating, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I can finally breathe. So I'm like, oh, and of course the entire time I'm thinking about like we're in escrow.
Yeah. What do we
yeah.
do?
What's gonna
The
happen now?
buyer's agent is texting me. He's like, hey.
Is our house on the news?
Is this I don't know if you know this. I'm like, oh, I'm well aware.
I don't know if you know this.
I don't
I'm
know if
getting
you know
live
this.
You're like,
updates.
please.
I'm well aware. Thank you so
Yes,
much.
I'm very, very aware. And
Was it going smoothly to this point?
it was so smooth, which was a little scary too, because again, like he would say really off things, and we were able to get the property in escrow before it went on the market. Like someone just offered list price, like
Right.
this is what we were going to list it for.
Right.
This is great. He was happy with it.
Yeah.
So everything was smooth. We're in the very beginning.
It's
stages.
always like you always were
Yeah,
waiting
it's
for that
too
other
good.
shoe to drop. Yeah.
know.
It's going a little too smooth. Like I don't know about that.
Exactly.
Oh my god.
So it was just in my mind now that I'm completely kind of dealing with this, and I'm like having a moment of fresh air. I'm like, oh, we're in escrow. What are we going to do now? And the mom and the sister somehow got my information as well. I think they were able to look, like the lawyer was able to look it up on
Right.
MLS or
Right.
something, or public information.
But even if they wanted to sell it for him, they couldn't.
well, at this point, they didn't know yet.
Okay.
They didn't know where his mental capacity was
If
gonna
he
come
could
in.
continue or whatever. Like, can we get an
exactly.
extension on that escrow? Thanks.
Yeah, exactly. So
30 days should do it.
excuse me.
No, you're okay.
So that was that. And it was wild because I'm just thinking back, like getting a call from the FBI.
I mean,
Didn't even know. I was nervous and I didn't do anything
Yeah.
wrong. But again, I was like, well, I was just in a kind of a witness to a car accident.
yeah,
I was like,
I
this is really
literally
extreme.
absolutely would have for sure thought
They were
that
connected.
Yes, that was connected.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's why I
yeah.
answered the phone, because I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if the cops call you. It says,
If I get U.S.
911.
government, I'm answering every time. 'Cause I'm going to be like, this is
This
straight
is
for the
great.
podcast. Go ahead, tell me everything.
Yes.
Who did what?
Yeah. Oh, my seller killed someone. Great.
Great.
Awesome.
I have a
can't wait to
podcast.
go
I'm going to talk
40
about
hours.
it. Yeah, exactly. That's insane.
Yeah. This is all the same day. And I'm like, I can't.
I cannot. That is also
Yeah, that's wild. What are the
not
chances?
not even like morning and then you have a couple hours reprieve. You're like, okay, we're good. I had dinner. I'm good. No. Like 30 minutes apart. You're like
30 minutes
driving
apart.
from one incident to the other.
Yeah.
That's insane.
And I didn't even go to the other.
And it's the trash truck.
Oh, I
outside.
was
the
like,
windows
wow.
open.
You're like, something
I know.
else is happening.
I know something's
like, oh
happening.
my
A transformer
gosh.
blue.
Did you guys hear this?
Yeah, I know. I have the windows open because it feels so good out today. But I was like, I'm probably gonna have to close them and turn
Oh
on the AC.
no!
Anyway,
this weather's amazing.
I know it's good.
So yeah, that is
Wild, Sid.
So wild.
That is insane. I wasn't expecting that when that morning you're like, I got a couple good stories for you. We're all like,
Do we have an update on what he's doing? Is that in jail?
I have no idea. I
this
don't
was
know if
so
he's
long
in a
ago,
mental
right? Because
hospital.
once that lawyer took over, you were then not able to.
In the beginning, I was still involved because they didn't know where his mental capacity.
right.
Lawyer took over, and
Right.
then he picked his own real estate agent,
And then
kind
just
went
kind
from
of-
there.
yeah.
Because we ended up having to cancel escrow because
Right.
the buyer.
Was like,
Yeah, not gonna wait.
Well,
for
no,
us.
they wanted the house, but the seller.
what are you
couldn't
going to do? He couldn't sell it.
Right.
So like, there's nothing to do. Need more water? Poor Sid. She's recovering from a cold. And she knew. She was like, I was like, do you want some water? She's like, yeah, this could get a little talking so much. She's
Oh
getting
yeah.
right.
Well, it's like long-winded story.
I
too,
know.
but,
I know.
Yeah, it was so wild. Like I think back to it and I was like hoping to find a picture because this was like 2018, 19.
Yeah.
It wasn't that long ago.
No, but pre-COVID, everything we're like,
Yeah,
4 years
I'm
ago.
like-
What even happened then? I don't even know.
You know, like what did you do during COVID? I deleted all my old messages. I cleaned up my photo album.
Yeah.
And now I'm looking back like, I wish I would have kept it.
Damn it. Okay, well, if you come across one, you send
Oh,
it to
I
us.
will.
Yeah,
I will dig deep.
That's so funny. Okay, well, I mean, that was insane. But we play a little game at the end, and this might incite.
Oh, this is you surprised
some
me.
other stories.
Okay,
yeah, and
okay.
also you're going to be surprised because we have a
do
new
we have a new one?
question. Yeah, the
Okay.
very first one.
Okay. You
Ready? So this is
Okay.
called punch list because we hit you with 3 questions.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. What's the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to you in front of a client?
Oh my gosh. Embarrassing thing that ever happened to me in front of a client.
I actually also have to think about this.
I know,
one.
me too.
Oh, this is hard.
I'm sure there's
I don't
plenty.
I don't know if I'm embarrassed. I guess that's the
I know.
other thing.
I
I'm like
I saw this online somewhere and I was like, oh, that's a really good one. I should actually like.
maybe you give me
try
an
this.
example. I need
Well, what I was just thinking,
brainstorm.
what came to mind just now for me is like, you know, when clients are like following you and you're like trying to be a good driver.
Oh. We all know how that goes.
With
goes
me,
for you.
with me, because I drive fast and I have quite the road rage, you know what I mean? But like there was one, I'm just thinking of this one incident where I didn't like see someone there was like a bush and I went to go pull out and this guy like laid on the horn and I was like, oh my God, okay, sorry. And then I'm like, this is a brand new client, they're gonna think that like I don't know how to drive. Like that's all that came to mind right now. But if you can't think of anything, it's okay. But
Okay. I'll have to
maybe
come back
we'll
to
come back
that.
to that
Yeah.
one. Okay.
What's your biggest pet peeve?
Ooh, don't get me started. Oh, wait.
This could be life or
clients?
business. It could be either one,
my
girl.
gosh.
Either one.
Oh God, bad drivers. Oh, four-way stops. At
People
four-way
don't know how to.
I don't
roundabout.
around.
Oh, in Bird Rock, where
my
Canter's
gosh.
other. I mean,
Yeah.
Americans do not understand or know how to drive in
Oh,
roundabouts.
yeah, because we
drives me
don't.
insane.
I mean, obviously, it's not.
We
as
have
common
that, but it's
here.
not as common. Yeah, it drives
like
me
the
insane.
four-way stop thing where
People
if you're-
don't know
if
the
you're the
yields.
first- yeah, they don't know the yields, and then if you come to a stop and then you're waiting for the other car to come to a stop, but you don't go because you're waiting for this car
Yeah.
and that car is so far back, like just go.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
what are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
it's almost kind of like.
You know what I do? Like, you
slow
know, like in the
walkers.
village, like, or when like, okay, so you stop and that person stops, but then they're going to wait for someone to cross the street. I'm going to go.
No,
Right.
and
I'm
you
not
can do
gonna
that,
wait. And you can do that because
Yeah.
where are they? What are they going to do?
Yeah,
Hit the
they're just
pedestrian?
waiting.
Like they're stuck there. Like just go and like keep traffic moving.
Yeah.
But when you're behind someone that waits for that person to cross the street,
Yeah.
for that person to go for that girl,
Oh, whew.
the New Yorker in me, I'm not even a New Yorker, comes out. Everyone's like, are you from the East Coast? Because you cuss a lot and you yell at people and honk like you're from the East Coast. I'm like, maybe in a past life. I don't really
You
know.
know what's so funny?
But I will honk.
Oh, so in Bali, I went to Bali.
Ooh, I haven't been there yet.
And people, that's how they communicate. In
Oh, yeah, it's
vehicles.
like
That's
free
what
driving.
horn is for.
Yeah, and so you hear honking all the time,
It's just like
but
in the
no one
city.
thinks anything of it.
No, they're just like
They have like
communicating.
15 people on one
yeah,
scooter.
Yeah.
It's oh, would you see on
see a whole family
when you
on the
see
scooter.
on Instagram and social media, they have like a scooter and there's like 10 dogs on it. It's like insane, and I'm on a scooter like scared for my life because I'm like I haven't
So
rode
true.
because everyone rides scooters, and I'm like this little truck next to
it's
me.
like,
I'm like, yeah,
And you're like screaming, and that's like your honk.
the
'cause you don't
meter
wanna,
doesn't
like,
work. I don't know if I have gas or not. I'm like having a
I don't know if I could do
connection.
that. I was in Turks for my birthday this year,
fun.
and it
I've
was
never
so
been.
fun. Oh, you gotta go. You
hear
gotta
it's
go.
beautiful,
It
yeah.
is amazing. And they had like scooters we could rent around town, and I was like, I looked at my brother, and I was like, should we do it? And he's like, we should. We never did, but I was like, that would be. But there's like one highway, essentially, that runs through the island, and I'm like, is that what we? And by the way, everything's on the left
side.
So our motto was, my brother would like I rented the car, but I was like, y'all can drive. Like, I'm not even gonna give this like one thought. And we had like a minivan, essentially,
Oh,
and
that's
like
even more scary.
yeah, well, so and by the way, everything's like, so you're on the right, but then everything's on the left. And my brother would get in, and he's like, "How do you know if a tourist is here?" Because he'd hit the windshield wipers, thinking it was the blinker, because the blinker was on the other side.
Oh, wow.
And then he pulled out, and I was like, and a couple of us girls in the back were like, never mind. And my brother looked back at us, and because we were like, you're on the wrong side of the road, but he was on the right side of the road, which is the left side.
Yeah.
So my girlfriend Sarah was like, if it feels wrong, it's right. That was like the
my-
whole motto for the
I
rest of the
love
trip.
that.
Like, we would be like, my brother's like, I know, like, and he's like, if it feels wrong, it's right. But when you go to make a left turn, you're on the left. So you're just like,
Yeah, you almost
it
have
feels
to-
so
You
weird.
almost have to do like the yachting, terminology, because if you say right
Yes.
and you're like, I don't mean right, like
Starboard.
starboard,
Yeah.
port side.
Yeah,
you're like,
exactly.
Because
I should have told him that. Well, and like we went to Ireland, like, gosh, like 15 years ago, him and I with another couple friends of ours, and he drove there, but a stick shift. So then he was having to shift with his left. And it was like, it was insane. And like, so, but I can't
even drive a
for
stick.
whatever
Yeah,
reason,
same
the
up.
last few countries I've been to have all been on the right. Like,
Well, I'm a big proponent of public transportation in Europe. So I just
don't even
got
try.
back from Italy not so long ago, and in Paris,
it
and I was like, my girlfriend loves to rent a car. Well, she likes the concept of renting a car. She's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
we can just go whenever. I'm like, first of all, we're probably gonna be out, drinking, having a good time.
It
the night
depends on what you're
before.
like, what you're doing and what your
We're not
plans
even
are.
just,
Where?
just having dinner and drinking, and then getting
No,
up
walk and take transit.
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't want to be responsible for a vehicle. I don't care how cheap it is.
No.
There's a reason why it's so cheap, because people don't do it.
There's exactly
Right.
exactly.
I'm like,
we
I don't.
we did
we had
both.
to find parking. Like,
Yes.
no way, Jose.
We did both in Italy. We only rented a car once we got out to Tuscany.
Oh, makes sense.
And in the Amalfi Coast is very difficult. Did you go down there?
We did Amalfi, but we had the first.
A driver is like necessary.
A tip on Amalfi. We
Yeah.
took a driver from Naples.
Yes, that's what we
which-
did.
because it was scenic. So we're like,
It's
everyone's
beautiful.
like, take the drive.
But you have no business driving on those roads.
But don't drive.
Y'all,
Don't drive.
if you have
Just
not
take
been to the Amalfi Coast, it
take
is
the
like
ferry.
you're gonna fall off the cliff. Okay.
take the ferry.
And some of those
Yeah.
roads, those buses on those roads,
So scary.
I'm like,
They like
it
clearing
is-
the corner.
I don't even know how
and
they do.
drive on the right side.
They do.
They drive
do.
on the U.S.
On the
side.
yeah. So that's what I'm saying. That was actually the last country before Turks
Yeah.
that I was in was Italy, and it was all. But we only had. We rented once we got into Florence. We rented a car because then my brother got married there, so we stayed out in Tuscany for 7 days.
Oh, fun.
So we would come back and forth into Florence, and so we rented a car for that. So that was fine.
When I was in Florence, we had
Yep.
a driver bring us to
Which,
Tuscany.
It's
wine,
amazing.
and then
That's
we
so
went
much
out.
better.
Yeah.
But like, no, Italy has enough public transportation.
Yeah,
You don't
it's
need
so
to
nice.
Rome. You don't
Yeah.
need it. We
No.
walked and took the train everywhere.
Train
and
everywhere.
Like, yeah.
Uber. They have Uber.
Yeah, and we even
So,
took the
yeah.
train from Rome down to to Naples.
Yep.
The driver picked us
did
up
that.
in Naples at the train station and then drove us to our villa in
Yeah.
Amalfi. We stayed in Amalfi proper. We need to talk about
Oh
that.
my God, I did Positano and Capri.
We did
Yeah,
too. We did
so
all
it
of them.
perfect.
It was
Yeah.
God, take me
I
back.
know.
Anyway, this is now a travel podcast.
Okay, sorry.
Okay.
But I have a story about that.
okay.
I rented a car in the Caribbean because my friend's parents lived out there when I was in college.
Which island?
I honestly don't even remember. We were,
St. Martin.
I think it
Thomas?
was, or St. Thomas. It was
Okay.
either
It
one
was
of those
one of
two.
those two.
Those
You
are
said,
the
yeah.
two popular.
Yeah.
So we went with my girlfriend and her family and then another girlfriend of ours. And we rented I don't know why, but we got a car. And we went to the
It's so
club.
Small. I mean, there's no real public.
But a lot of
transit
people
down
rent
there.
like Jeeps out there.
Yeah, it was like just to
Yeah,
like kind of
yeah.
put around.
Yeah.
And we go out to the bars and we come back and we get in the car and we're like, wait, are we really? Oh, I probably shouldn't say that we were drinking and driving, but whoever was in the car, I wasn't driving. We looked down and we're like, this looks really different. The whole system of the car was completely ripped out. Like
What?
everything.
Somebody broke into it
yes,
and,
and
like,
stole
ripped it?
all the stuff out of the car.
No.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
I thought you meant like system as
You're
in,
like sitting on like a
foreign
chassis
country
and like
No,
system.
we were just looking down. We're like, wasn't there something here?
Oh,
All-
a
it was all
steering
gone.
wheel.
Yeah.
A steering wheel was there,
was
and
it-
it's
was
no
it a
longer
Jeep?
there.
I don't remember.
Was it
No,
like
I guess
a-
like it was like a little sedan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
yeah. And we're like,
no.
oh, I guess
Insane.
we're walking home.
Oh my god.
Wow.
And you're kind of like, tipsy. So
Yeah.
You're like not 100% sure. Like,
And you're like, wait,
And I
where's
was
the
like, I
dashboard?
know. Yeah, I'm
the
like,
dashboard.
there
the
was something
speedometer
here.
was
Did we
here.
listen to
Oh
music
my
on this
God.
thing?
Well, we got into ours, and my brother gets in the first day, and he goes to my friend Max. He goes, the whole dashboard's in Japanese. And Max was like, yeah, man, like everything's wrong. It feels right. Like, who gives a shit? I don't really know how fast we're going, but like, it's fine. And it was so funny because everything was in Japanese, but it was the speedometer was in kilometers, but then the signs in Turks are in miles per hour. And I'm like,
oh
okay,
no
Oh,
way.
gosh.
I can't do this.
So you're
math.
like, am I going metric system?
Yeah, no, we
That's
didn't
too
know. I was like, okay, Turks needs to make up their mind on like
Yeah.
what they're gonna do. Are they? Because they're still a British whatever. You know what I
oh,
mean?
yeah,
I think they still are. Okay, nobody come for me. Geography, Earth. I know my brother's gonna talk shit. Okay, anyway, last question.
So a pet peeve. Oh, slow walkers. That's my other one.
You know what?
Ugh.
Have you seen the memes? And I do this. If I let you go, I expect you to hustle across that crosswalk
yes.
because I hustle. I'll jog with Gwen.
I always
I will
crosswalk
hustle.
walkers?
I will hustle, and they're just like
Even when I'm pregnant, I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
I'm
like get off your
if you
phone.
think I won't honk at your ass and get
This
you to
is
move
not
faster.
a leisure thing.
No,
Like, this is
I
a
let you go to
crosswalk.
be nice, and also I expect a thank you.
Yes.
I want you to mouth the words to me.
You're like, you do the wave.
Yeah.
You do the wave.
You do the wave. You do like, I
Yeah.
don't
Or-
care if you cut me off. If you wave, I'm
If
like,
you-
you're okay.
You're
bye.
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
You said thank you. It's cool because I'm
Yeah.
always like thank you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then
Thank
when
you
someone
for
doesn't, I'm
letting me
like,
cut you off. Yeah.
fuck you. Yeah.
So this is funny. Quick thing about
Mm-hmm.
crosswalks. So I haven't been in DC since I was like in high school
God,
or
my brother
something.
lives there all the time. I
And
love it.
my ex-boyfriend lived in DC. Used to live in DC, and we
Yeah.
were there visiting because he had like some type of convention or something.
Okay.
And we were at some crosswalk. We're looking at one of the Washington Monument. The crosswalk was 2 minutes long. I was like,
For all the people that have
yeah.
to cross.
I was like,
Yeah.
I'm like over to the other side in 10 seconds. I was like, what is going on?
Why do we need
You're like,
2 minutes, people?
But you also have to wait for the traffic now because the longer the crosswalk, the longer the
traffic.
light. Yeah. So I'm like, a 2-minute crosswalk?
I know.
This
That's
is
a long time.
insane.
Yeah, but there's so
I'm
many
exaggerating. I think it
people.
was 90
No,
seconds.
but it's like-
it
no,
was
they
long.
are. They're
it was
long.
really long. Like to
Yeah.
me, a 30-second one, I was like, oh, I got time. I can just walk at this pace, you know?
My brother and sister-in-law lived in DC proper for a while. They're now in a suburb of Virginia, like just right outside the city.
DC's beautiful, by
But
the way.
I'm not there all the time. I love it. I love it. You know, maybe one day.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, it's people. My brother would get so pissed when someone would like block the box, like where it literally it says "Do not block." We have them
yeah.
here.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Y'all are idiots. Like, drivers, I can't. Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the last
Okay,
question?
sorry.
Okay.
No, it's okay.
If you could be anything other than a real estate agent, what would you be and why?
I'm really interested in this.
Oh wow. This is gonna really throw you guys off. So I always wanted to be a doctor.
Okay.
Right? Like I had this I wanted to be in science, medical.
That's so
but
cool.
this is wait a second. I wanted to be like a forensic doctor that work on dead people.
Oh, wow.
That's so cool.
Because
That's really cool.
personally, people drive me nuts. And you would think like, you're in real estate. How do people drive you
No,
nuts? Like,
I also
but
feel the same.
because like, I don't know if you've ever been like going to the hospital is so dreadful.
It is.
Like
It
it's there's nothing happy about it. Even if
Yeah.
you're just going for a checkup, everything's just
Yeah.
like, ugh.
Yep. Yep.
So I wanted to work I wanted to do forensic science on
Like be a coroner or like
a coroner.
Coroner,
Yeah,
basically.
like
or,
a medical coroner. Yeah.
What happened?
Like I was
cool.
like that. I know. I was like, man, I really
the human
should've
body is like so fascinating.
It's so fascinating
And
to
like,
me.
yeah. And then helping like detectives like solve murders and you're
Yeah,
like,
like
cause
that-
of death. You're
yeah.
like, no,
That's
he didn't
the type of
commit
doctor I
suicide.
want to
He
be.
was strangled.
I don't want to save lives. I want to figure out how he died.
I love it.
Yeah, because I
love it.
It's nothing worse than telling someone like, hey, your
yeah.
Loved one is Pat.
one
Right.
passed away.
Right.
That's
Like,
not
let me
my-
help you find out how
I
he
don't
did
have
that.
that type of bedside
No.
manner. I'm just very straight to the point. I'm like, I'm sorry. I don't know. I mean, I probably had better if I practiced, but I was like, but
doctors do, though.
dead
Doctors
people-
actually
dead
don't.
people are great. You know,
Yeah.
you don't.
They
have
don't talk
to-
back.
They don't talk back.
They're not slow walkers.
They're not slow walkers.
They ain't moving.
Yeah, it's great.
Did you do go towards that in any way?
So in college, I took all the classes that kind of get you to pre-med.
Okay.
And then I realized I lost interest really, really fast because I think I wanted to enjoy college a little bit
Yes,
more.
I
And
getcha.
that's another reason why I didn't do sports and
Same.
yeah. And
College was great.
oh, but I was always in business school as well. So
Yeah.
I have a BA in science or a bachelor in science.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of pursued business.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Good.
So I know it's so random. Like, wow, you wanted to work on dead people. Yeah.
We haven't got that one yet. I love that.
Yeah.
That's my
Yeah,
favorite
that's a
question.
really good
I
one.
don't think I'll ever change it because I'm just there. A lot of us have just fallen into this job in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah. Same.
Some people always wanted. I mean, I feel like and when we were we're around the same age. When we were in college, okay, maybe there was.
Mm-hmm. What was your
Again,
major
nobody
in
come
college?
For me, it was marketing and advertising.
Same.
Like I was actually started on.
I want to be like a madman. I was like, I want to be in this ads. I want to create.
So I actually started in TV.
Oh, awesome.
As on the local news, and then I was like,
this makes sense now.
It does. It does. Full circle. Full circle. And then I was like, I'm not. You get paid what a year to report the news in South Dakota? No, thank you.
I had a friend. She does the news in Arizona, and they get up at 3 in the morning.
Oh my God, wait.
To do the news at 6 in the morning.
What channel? What part of Arizona? Is she in
Oh
Phoenix?
my God, no. she got married in Tucson. It was a friend of a friend.
Okay.
So I
That's
was
where I'm
like,
from. That's
oh,
what I was
okay.
asking. And one of my brother's college
one
of my brother's college friends is on the news station in Phoenix. And so
I want to say maybe she was on the outskirts. I want to say it
but
was
no, you
Phoenix.
gave it at the time when we were graduating back in, do I even say it? 2006, 2007. Like it was like 25 grand a year, 30 grand. I was like, I'm sorry, what?
Yeah.
This is poverty?
You had to move your way up.
Oh, you had to, and you started in like a podunk town in like South Dakota somewhere,
exactly.
and then had to move markets and I was like,
or you're out
same thing,
reporting
lost
like a
interest.
cat in the trees, you know, because you do the.
And I was like, this is so
other
stupid.
jobs.
Like I can't do this. I was like, I'm out. So
Yeah, you got to pay your dues.
yeah, you did, and I was like, no thanks. So
Yeah.
I just started this instead. You know?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
And I fell into it because there a couple of guys ahead of me were doing mortgages in Florida, and they would always come back, during break and kind of like hang out. And I was like, "What do you guys do?" Like, it's like I was
And again,
like
back
boiler
then,
room,
it was the
boys
heyday.
club. Yeah,
we were making really good. So I also started in mortgages.
Yeah,
and I made brilliant money.
Brilliant money.
Again, during the heyday, before the 2007, 2008 crash, it was great.
This is before.
Yeah, and then I kind of found my way back just because I didn't want to work for somebody. I just couldn't. I couldn't do the cubicle life anymore.
Oh yeah, so. we have to dress up. I remember there was a coat rack, and on the coat rack was ties. Because I was in Florida, and Florida's very East Coast.
Right.
Like everyone, you do not wear jeans Monday through Thursday.
Right.
Friday was casual Friday.
Yep.
And guys will show up with just their button ups, and they're like, look at the coat rack, like, oh, I wear this tie today because like people like you gotta wear a tie to work.
Yeah.
And, it was like a very.
It was
and
like
then when
that
I moved here, guys were wearing polos, jeans, and flip flop, rainbow flip flops.
What is this? Yeah, in Arizona it was the same. Everyone was in a suit and dress pants and like
very,
or
very
skirt and
different.
like the whole thing. Yeah, and then I moved here and I
didn't really.
No,
have to
I mean
wear
this
work
is what you get from me. This is it. So anyway,
I'm
so glad you came on.
Me too.
This was so
great.
fun. Thank
I
you
hope
so much.
my stories were good.
I know they were good.
I really hyped it up, and I was like,
No.
man, am I overhyping my story?
You did not.
That was great.
You did not. Some people, probably can and have, but no, you definitely did not disappoint. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for having me, guys.
You're
This was
welcome.
great. Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening. Behind the Lockbox is produced and edited by Property Showcase Group. If you like this podcast, please share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, or review this podcast. Thanks for your support. See you next week.